What is going on, guys? RealTutsGML here, and you are not seeing things. This is another Java game dev series tutorial. This is going to be number 14. If you saw my last tutorial, you'll know that I lost the files, and I actually followed through my tutorials once again just so I can get the code exactly how I had it. So I went ahead and copied down all of the code, and we're back where we left off. You see, you got our spaceship here, you can shoot, and in the last tutorial we did have the enemy drop down from the top there, but I want to take I want to show you something new that can be better improved with the code in this tutorial. So I saw someone in the comments while I was looking through the videos saying that I should use interfaces, and you know what? That's a darn good idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and use interfaces. So basically, instead of, if we go into the controller here, instead of having for loops for two of these, we could just have one main for loop in here too as well, and we could just have two remove entity and remove and add entity. So that is what we're gonna do. We can only have one linked list as well. So in all, it's gonna be better. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to our package here, and I'm gonna right click it. I'm gonna hit new, not class, interface, and I'm going to name it entity. Okay, once we get this, you'll see it says public interface instead of public class. Now basically what we're going to do here is we're going to set required methods that if we ever implement this entity, what it needs. So I'm going to say public void tick, public void render graphics G, and public double get X, public double get Y, and that's going to be it. So right here, if we ever implement this entity into one of our objects or our classes, we're going to need these methods required, and I'll go ahead and show you that right now. So that's basically the entity interface and what all we need for right now. So let's go into, say, our bullet here. Let me just close up a couple tabs because it is kind of... Okay, so if we go into our bullet here and you see we have public class bullet, let's now implement entity, right? And now we do have all of the required methods already that we have in our entity interface here, so it's not going to give us an error. But say if we took out this public double get X, as you can see, we get an error here because it requires that get X method. Oops, I'll put that back. So there we go. Now, basically, we've implemented the entity, which means it now it implements all these methods within the interface. So I'm going to do the same thing with the enemy. So implements entity, and as you can see, we need some required methods. So I'll just hit add implemented methods, and we can get rid of this add override, and then return X and return Y. So there we go. Now everything should be good, and we go to our controller here. Instead of having these lists, let's go ahead and erase all of this, and instead of bullet, say entity, and entity in here, I'm just gonna say E. Oh, okay. So alright, so now instead of these for loops here, go ahead and erase all of them here. And same with the render, and same with all of these. And right here, I'm just gonna say entity ent, we'll just say. And then in the public void tick, we're just gonna create a for loop again. Int I equals 0, I is less than ent dot size, I plus plus. And then, oops, oh, I'm sorry, e dot size. And then we're going to say ent equals e dot get I and ent dot tick. Okay, and same for in here. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it down, and then render. There we go. And now we're going to set the public void add entity, and I'm just going to name the parameter block. Just, I don't know, it's preference. Ent.add, sorry, e.add ent. Or no, I'm sorry, block. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm just going to copy this and paste it down one more time. So now we'll remove entity and remove. There we go. So that's now a lot cleaner version of how to do this. So now if we go into our game here, we're going to get an error. Add cast to C. Right, so add entity, because we took out that add bullet here. So now if we went ahead and ran it, you can see it's exactly the same, still bullets that come down. Okay, and now let's say let's create a couple enemies as well. So in our let's create a controller for so we can add some enemies in here. And I know I did this in the last tutorial, so I didn't actually put that down again, so just bear with me here. But I'm just going to say add entity, new enemy, 100 text. I need to put in the private textures. And textures text. This dot text equals text. There we go. And we need to put that in here, so text. So now if we ran it, as you can see, whoa, everything is now good. So we render the enemies, we render the bullets all under one tick and render loop. So that is going to be a way to clean up your code and make it, because say you had like a bunch of objects. You had, let's say you had chests, you had ghosts, you had swords, you had all this stuff, and your controller would be enormous. But now it doesn't have to be. So yeah, that's basically it. Go leave a like, go and subscribe. Let's try and get this up to 40 likes. It is back, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let me know what you want to see in the next tutorial. So here, let me just add 20 of them, and I'll put in the random method as well. Just new random r.next int 640 and 10. Let me just go to the enemy real quick and make it so that they go down not as fast. There we go. Now we run it. And there we go. We've got now a row of enemies, and I'm still going to be sticking with what was originally intended, which once you kill one, then two will come down, then three, then four, then five, then six, then seven, then eight, then nine, and it continues on. So go leave a like, go and subscribe. Again, 40 likes. Let's see if we can do it, and I will see you sexy studs next time. Peace.